What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another solo video on the Baby Back Rib Show. I am Cole Cunningham, and today we're gonna be doing some Week 12 predictions. First of all, Week 12 already. That's insane. To even think about. Just we have flown through this season. But yeah, today I'm gonna go through the games for this Week 12 slate on this Thursday morning and kind of just give you my thoughts and opinions on each team a little bit, kind of do a little bit of a deep dive, kind of go a little bit more in depth than what we do normally for our pick'ems, and I think it'll make for a great video. I think we'll hit on a lot of interesting stuff. Starting off with the Vikings Bears, and I mean I'm gonna go Vikings here. Um, Darnold hasn't he hasn't been wowing me recently, but I mean apparently Caleb Williams hasn't thrown a passing touchdown in a month, which, as someone who does have in fantasy, yeah, oh my God, it's been over a month since he's thrown a passing touchdown. But yeah, that does feel right though, as a Caleb Williams fantasy owner. Um, but yeah, it's just been rough. I know the Bears fired Shane Waldron, so they're kind of trying to revamp the offense a little bit. This late into the season, that's gonna be very difficult. And I mean, yeah, the Vikings have kind of just been a well-oiled machine all year. 8-2 still. Their only losses coming to the Lions and the Rams. Um, and I think they'll take care of business against Chicago. Um, Now, does that mean Chicago has zero chance in this game? No, but I just don't see their offense just kind of getting revived overnight, especially against the boogeyman that is Brian Flores. Just not gonna happen. But yeah, give me the Vikings here, and I think they're gonna keep on rolling in this stacked NFC North. But yeah, after that, we've got I think this next game could be quite fun. We got the Lions and the Colts. First of all, I just want to say welcome back, Anthony Richardson. Um, I'm very glad that this whole Joe Flacco thing only lasted what 2 games, because if the Colts, if they would have kept Joe Flacco in there, that would have been very idiotic. And I mean, even if you did go on to actually win some games and make the playoffs, what are you gonna do? You're gonna lose in the wild card. So like, cool, you just stunted your franchise quarterback's growth because you wanted to lose in the wild card round. Good job, Colts ownership and front office. Way to be behind your quarterback. But yeah, I mean, he goes out last week against the Jets, kicks ass, shows why he should be starting, and here we are. And now he's playing this Detroit team that is, oh my God, it's a buzzsaw. The Lions are the best team in the NFL, easily. And I mean, and they operate on such a high level, and they just they just they just kick ass, man. It's incredible. Even without Aiden Hutchinson, they've just been so good. Um, and I know you don't get one without the other, but if we could have seen Aiden Hutchinson and Zadarius Smith on that defensive line with DJ Reader, oh my God, that would have been like the most talented defense the Lions have had in what since like they had Ndamukong Suh, I feel. So I mean, yeah, I think this Lions team is not your old Lions team that's used to losing Thanksgiving games all the time. This Lions team's legit. Like they're getting really close to being my Super Bowl favorite, man. Like it's just they should be. They really should be. But it's so surreal saying Lions and Super Bowl that it's kind of like it's almost a little bit scary. But I promise you, come playoff time, I will be very high in the Lions, and I will most likely put them as my Super Bowl team. I think I had them as my Super Bowl team when we did our preseason predictions. I think I had Lions, Chiefs. So somebody might have cooked here. As for this game here, the Lions and the Colts, in Indianapolis, but I think I'm still gonna go Lions. But I do think Anthony Richardson could be like a little wild card and make this game interesting. Either that or the Lions are just going to do what they have, I feel like multiple times this year with the Titans and the Cowboys and the Jags and just kick ass. It'll be the biggest bell to assing of the week. So for my prediction, I'm going to go with the Lions. And then next, we move on to the Dolphins and the Patriots. Record wise, these teams are close. Talent wise, not so much. Simply put it, give me the Dolphins. But I will say the Patriots have impressed me this year. They're 3-8. That's probably about two more games than I thought they would win this year. Drake May is kind of looking solid. This team kind of gives me like last year's Cardinals kind of vibes, where they're not good. They have a very bad team overall. Like they're not like roster wise, they're definitely bottom three in the NFL. But I mean, those guys that just go out there and compete, and that's all you can really ask for them. And you just find ways to win games. And so that does remind me of that. I think when it comes to this rebuild, I think the job that Gerard Mayo is doing is it's a good job, and I'm glad that he's probably going to be there to stay. And kind of see this thing out with Drake May, and kind of see what happens next year in the offseason. I hope they draft a receiver. I hope they get Tedero McMillan out of Arizona. That'd be such a great pairing to see Drake May and McMillan. That's a kind of a dream scenario for me. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Dolphins here. And as Otto said in his recap video that came out yesterday, um, I think the Dolphins they have a pretty easy shot to sneak back in the playoffs, even at 4-6 right now, because the rest of their schedule lines up very well. And I'm interested. I think as long as they can just click at the right time, they could easily make a run back in the playoffs. The problem is that they're kind of far behind right now. Because I mean, you got teams like the Broncos. I know, crazy. The Broncos, the Chargers. I know the Bengals are kind of out of it, but they're not really out of it because they're the Bengals. I don't know what's gonna happen there. But I think the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins at the end of the day. I think they'll. Okay, hold on. I gotta think about this before I say it. I think they will sneak into the seventh seed. I do, and that's kind of my hot take is that that will happen. But yeah, I'm gonna go Dolphins here against the Patriots. Sorry Patriots, you guys are probably still gonna be in last place after this one, but I mean, I think you've already surpassed your expectations for the year, being having 3 wins already this late into the season. But let's move on to the next game. We got Buccaneers Giants. Tommy Cutlets starting for the Giants. Not who I would have picked to be your your Daniel Jones replacement for this year. Definitely would have went Drew Lock because he's right there and you kind of signed him to be your backup. Um, so I'm gonna go with the Bucks here, but I will say it would be very funny if Tommy DeVito wins enough games for this team to be out of contention for like a new quarterback in the draft again. Because if you remember, Tommy DeVito came in and won them a couple of games and kind of played them out of getting Drake May, which is honestly the most Giants thing ever. But yeah, give me the Buccaneers here. I think they will get Mike Evans back, which will be a huge boost to the offense. Just getting him back. I know it's no Chris Godwin for the rest of the year, but having an established receiver like Mike Evans, it'll just make everything easier for everybody else, like guys like Kate Otten and Jalen McMillan. Yeah, I think this offense will look a little bit better than it has the last couple of weeks, and it still looks pretty good. But I just think you know you get your guy back, and you're going against the Giants. That makes for a very good combo. I think the Buccaneers, if they win this game, they could honestly be back in the NFC South race. Because I mean, the disaster that was the Falcons game last week, and the disaster that is their pass rush, is kind of holding them back right now. So I know I said the NFC South is kind of over, but it's kind of still wide open, especially because the Saints won their last 2 games, and I don't know really what's going on there. Maybe they can make a run just because of how bad this division really is, but it's interesting. I can't wait to get into that maybe a little bit later into the season. But yeah, give me the Bucks here. And then next we got the Cowboys and the Commanders. I really don't want to talk about this game at all because I don't want to talk about the Cowboys and how stupid it is that they're starting Cooper Rush and not Trey Lance. Because I don't know how I like. Does Trey Lance really look that bad in practice to where you're like, yeah, we cannot start this guy. We got to put Cooper Rush in there. There's just no way, right? Right? So first of all, give me the Commanders. Even though the second half Cliff Kingsbury thing kind of showed its rear end a little bit last Thursday against against the Eagles, but I'm still going to take the Commanders here because the Cowboys are so bad right now, and I feel like they're kind of in full tank mode, or at least they should be. That they can't win. Like there's no way they're going to win this game, especially it's in Washington, and that would be so crushing for the Commanders, to lose that game. Um, but yeah, we've already talked about this game too much. Give me the Commanders. Give me the Commanders. And next, oh my God, this is the game that probably has easily the most TikTok edits unnecessarily of all time. We got the Chiefs and the Panthers. Panthers coming off a bye. winning 2 games in a row against the Chiefs. So this is essentially the NFL equivalent of a hydrogen bomb versus a coughing baby. However, NFL, Twitter, and TikTok have, I think, tried to convince themselves that Bryce Young is going to have the most masterclassful games of masterclasses. I'm not seeing it, man. I think Bryce Young's looked great the last 2 weeks. I think he's getting better, but I mean, this Chiefs defense might just tear him a new one. Um, Give me the Chiefs, and I think them coming off a loss, especially against Buffalo. Um, yeah, I think the Chiefs are gonna bounce back and win here, guys. I know we all want the Panthers to come out and pull off the biggest upset, maybe in the history of the NFL, but I just don't see it happening, guys. I'm sorry. Give me the Chiefs. And now we move on to Titans, Texans. Texans, they did beat the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. It didn't look too great, especially defensively. They had Cooper Rush though for like 300 yards. You get that fixed. But I'm still gonna take the Texans here. The Titans are they're kind of done for the year. I really don't have too much to say about the Titans. They're kind of just cruising, trying to get to the offseason, trying to get this rebuild a little bit more in order. So it's really all I gotta say about that one. Give me the Texans. And then we got Broncos Raiders. Ooh, okay, okay, okay. The Broncos have actually really good this year, and they could also be one of those teams that sneaks into the playoffs as a 7th seed. I think it's them and the Dolphins. And if I had to pick one, I think I'd go Dolphins, but it's like Sean Payton's such a good play caller, and Bo Nix has looked good recently, which is something I did not think I would say, especially kind of like a Bo Nix hater. But they look good, man. Bo Nix is kind of looking like that little Drew Brees, um, that Drew Brees duplicate throughout his first season. Which I mean, that's great for Broncos fans because I mean they needed a quarterback for so long after losing Peyton Manning that if Bo Nix could look anything like just a semi decent quarterback, that's already a huge win. But yeah, give me the Broncos here. The Raiders, I think your game plan is probably just to lose out for the rest of the year. Get a quarterback. I don't know why. Recently, I've been thinking that Quinn Ewers is such a Raider. I don't know why. That's just the thought that's come to my head recently. That Quinn Ewers just screams Raider. I don't know why. That's how I'm feeling, guys. But yeah, give me the Broncos. And next we move on to a playoff rematch here, the Niners and the Packers. And I guess this will be my upset of the week, even though it's not really an upset because every time these teams play in the playoffs, the 49ers win, but I'm going to take the 49ers here. The Packers have kind of just not looked super good. I don't really see them as like a Super Bowl team this year, which is kind of the step we thought they would make after looking so good last year. They're kind of prone to mistakes, and by they I kind of mean Jordan Love. But I don't think they're like I don't think they're tuned enough to make that run. But I will say that I think this will be a fun game, especially in Green Bay. But give me the Niners. They kind of own this team. They're kind of known for beating them. So, and I just think the 49ers, they're kind of getting healthy a little bit. They got Christian McCaffrey back. George Kittle looking like he's probably going to play. So it's all good signs over there for the Niners, on that front. So yeah, give me the 49ers to get the Packers. Try to make a climb in this very very difficult NFC West to predict. It's so wild. I've never thought it would be this close. It's literally all 4 teams separated by 1 game. Perfect, almost perfectly balanced as all things should be, as Thanos once said. But we move on to the next game. Which, speaking of the NFC West, so we got a little divisional matchup here: my Arizona Cardinals against the Seattle Seahawks. Now, do I want to? Okay, do I want to be real and pick the Cardinals here because I actually think they're going to win, or do I pick the Seahawks because if they win, I'm right? Interesting stuff. It's in Seattle, and I think this is a big game for both teams, especially against the Cardinals. I'm going to go on my little Cardinals fan tangent here, because before they played, who was it? I think it was the Chargers or the Dolphins. I think it was the Chargers. Yeah, it was the Chargers. I remember looking at their next 4, which was the Chargers, the Dolphins, the Bears, and the Jets, and saying they could legitimately go 0-4. And the Cardinals, being the fucking wagon that they are, went 4-0. They have not lost a football game in a month. And they're coming off a bye. They're feeling fresh. You know, maybe being on a bye would have them lose some momentum, but I think this team can kind of keep those spirits up, especially when you're just performing this good. I mean, you have to, right? And then you have the Seahawks coming off a very unlikely win against the 49ers. So both of these teams kind of in high spirits right now. So it's definitely an interesting game, and and it's in Seattle. I don't know. I think these next four, I know I said it for the last four games for the Cardinals, but I do think these next four are also very important. I really do think this team needs to just take it kind of four games at a time. Um, because if you look at the Cardinals schedule, um, their next four: Seattle, in Seattle, Minnesota, which might be flexed to a primetime game. Please, NFL. Um, Seattle again, and then New England. I think if the Cardinals can go at least 2-2 in that stretch, then this team playoffs. This team's got to be a playoff team. But I think for now, I think I'm gonna go with the Seahawks because these divisional matchups are always really weird, and I feel like even if you're clearly the better team for both games, you're just bound to lose one. I don't know why. That's just how the NFL works. Unless you're the Chiefs, you just naturally win every game, except against the Bills. But yeah, give me the Seahawks here, unfortunately. But if the Cardinals win, I would definitely not be mad at all. We move on to our next game, Sunday night game, Eagles Rams. Now I gotta say, I know I'm kind of known to be an Eagles hater. They're looking pretty good again, and I really think if you had asked me right now, who's the second best team in the NFC, I think I'd have to go with Philadelphia. Um, I think they're like the only team in the NFC that could give the Lions like even a like a halfway fight. I think you put any other NFC team against the Lions, and it's not gonna end up well. I know my Cardinals only lost to them by one score, but that team is fucking scary, man, in Detroit. And the Eagles, yeah, not to talk about Detroit again, but God, it's wild. It's wild how good they've just looked this year. They're just I think they're just gonna cruise to the Super Bowl. But the Eagles, they have a shot at making it as well. They're 8-2. They're first in their division. They're kind of back to where they're at. Their defense has looked good. Quinton Mitchell's looked awesome this year. The secondary kind of came back to life. You got Quinton Mitchell, Reed Blankenship, Cooper DeJean, kind of all contributing at a pretty high level. And then you go against this Rams team that has these amazing receivers. You have this all-time quarterback in Matt Stafford. I think this could be a very fun game. But I think I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I think the Eagles are just too. I think they outmatch the Eagles, or they outmatched the Rams talent wise, and I think that's gonna make the difference here. I know Sean McVay's he's miles and miles and miles and miles ahead of Sirianni and even Kellen Moore, but I think I'm gonna go with the Eagles here just because of talent alone. Now I could be wrong, but that's predictions, baby. And now we move on to our last game, Auto. I know you had to wait for this one, and all my Ravens fans out there. We got the Monday Night Football game. We got the Ravens and the Chargers. I mean, record-wise, it's a very close matchup, but talent-wise, I feel like the Ravens have the clear advantage here, and I think I'm going to go with the Ravens. I'm not seeing a Greg Roman revenge game here, although I think Herbert might look pretty good because, I mean, the Ravens defense just hasn't looked amazing recently, especially against, like, the Bengals. I mean, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase would just play backyard football out there, and they almost won. But I will take the Ravens here in this Monday night game. I think they'll get back on track with a win after losing against Pittsburgh again, it feels like. Um, but I will say the Chargers have been so impressive this year. They're 7-3 in a rebuild year. They're looking like they're going to make the playoffs. I think they can sneak in as probably a six seed. And I mean the job that Jim Harbaugh has done, I knew he would do a good job. I just didn't think the talent would be able to. I thought the lack of talent would kind of hinder this team, but clearly it's not. They're kind of just going out there and beating teams that they're supposed to beat, and that's how you get to 7-3 here. And they're primed to get a playoff spot, which is just really impressive. And I mean, yeah, just a huge shout out to the job that Jim Harbaugh has done back in the NFL. Um, he made that transition back so it looks so smoothly. I don't think any other head coach could do that. So props to him. But with all that being said, I'm taking the Ravens. Um, so yeah, that's gonna be that's gonna wrap up our predictions here. I will go through who I have winning just real quick. I've got so for this Week 12 slate, we've got the Steelers, Vikings, Lions, Dolphins, Bucks, Commanders, Chiefs, Texans, Broncos, 49ers, Seahawks, Eagles, Ravens. So those are my winners for this week, my predictions. If you want to throw that in a crazy parlay for like $1, I'm sure the odds on that will be insanely high. But yeah, um, really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Look at the little thumbs up there. I don't know if it's going to be on the screen, but OBS loves doing that. I think it'll look really cute. Anywho, um, yeah, before I get out of here, I just want to say, yeah, a huge, huge thank you for all the support we've gotten recently. We just recently surpassed 100 subscribers, and I mean, I know Otto said this in the last video, but I mean, we're just so grateful for the support, and it just shows that, that the fact that you guys are enjoying these videos and are enjoying our content and willingly like listening to it, I mean, that means so much to us, and that's what really keeps us going. You know, if we had 5 subscribers this far in, we'd still be doing it. But the fact that we're at over 100 now, I mean, I mean, it shows that hard work pays off, and we really do appreciate it, guys. With that being said, I really hope you guys enjoy the video. Let me know what your guys' Week 12 predictions are. Let me know if you guys think there's any potential upsets besides the Chiefs and the Panthers, guys. I get it, okay? I get it, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and take care.